Welcome to Let's Just Talk with Kathryn Raaker, sponsored by A Private Place, Bagwell, Dan Perkins Author, Don Greco Novels, IDI Dentistry, Dr. James Butler, iMarketing, Web Design and Web Hosting, Integrated Healthcare Solutions, Punker Urban Farms, Next Stage, Skip Kenny Barbecue, Songs and Stories for Soldiers, Ultimate Air Shuttle, and Veterans in Defense of Liberty on Cincinnati's Christian Voice, Christian Talk 1160, WCVX.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Let's Just Talk. We have a special guest for our Christmas show today, Father Andrew Umberg, the pastor of St. Joseph's of North Bend. And today we're going to talk about a very special day of the year and the calendar, and that is Christmas. And Father, you did something very special. You come on my show all the time, am I right?
Yes.
And one of the things that I love about you is that you're so creative. You were even written up by the Catholic Telegraph for being a Renaissance artist. Is that true?
Yes, they said I have the soul of a Renaissance artist, but some of my family said, well, but does he have the talent of a Renaissance artist? They don't think so.
They don't think that. Well, listen, my family doesn't think I'm talented. How about that?
That is sad.
That is sad, but guess what? We know inside that it's been a gift from our Lord, the talent that we have. I mean, you're a tremendous chef. You're the most talented artist I've ever seen, and a priest, actually.
Thank you.
And have been my friend for a long, long time. The only priest that went on our show from the very beginning. And you were originally at my parish named St. William's. I'm married to a Williams, so Joseph was my father, Williams my husband. Is there something there?
I think so. I think your destiny
right.
is there, manifest.
Right. Well, tell me, Father, let's talk a little bit about how you prepared for this Christmas, for this year, for a very special gift that you give your parishioners and others. Tell me what happened, and where did you get the idea to do it?
Well, we have a crib scene, as so many churches do. Certainly most Catholic churches have a crib scene. It's usually out in the yard of the church, but most Catholic parishes also have a crib scene somewhere inside the church, or at least inside the church building. It might be in the back of church. Of course, ours is a crib set that's in the gathering space.
Which a lot of churches don't have.
Right, we're very lucky.
Very lucky. That was our original church.
Yes, and so it made a very large gathering space
right.
with a wall about 30 feet long, on which it used to be, of course, the sanctuary where we used to go to church. And along that wall, we have plenty of room. Well, part of the, right in the middle of the wall was a stage, as you know, right in front. It was probably about 12 feet by 12 feet, the stage. And then the crib scene was there with all artificial pine trees, Christmas trees, with white lights on them, which was very nice. The crib used to sit over on one of the side shelves of the church, as you remember, at Christmas time, but they moved it to the middle there when it became the gathering space. So there were these Christmas trees everywhere, and a big white block wall behind it, no longer decorated like a sanctuary wall, and it had two large streamers about 2.5 feet wide of gold cloth, and framing it, and in the middle a white cloth that had a Star of Bethlehem on it. And it was nice, it was tasteful, but it didn't look very much like Palestine. I said it was Christmas in the Alps because it had all the Christmas trees with all the white lights on there. And it was very nice, very tasteful, but I thought, we should do something with all that wall space. You know, it was like the size of a big stage, really, that you would see at a high school auditorium or something like that. So I thought, I want to use that. So I got this idea. I certainly at least want to put a sky behind it. And how would I do that? I thought, well, I can't paint the wall because then what are we going to do the other
paint the wall again, right?
Exactly. Right. We'd run out of paint or it would get very thick on the wall. So I thought, I have to hang cloth. But that's a lot of cloth. And if I do that, what would I do? I thought, I think some sort of blue color would look nice in satin. Because satin is just pretty to look at. I think people like satin generally.
Did you put stars on it? Am I right?
Yes. And then I glued stars on it.
Oh my gosh, I bet that was tough.
It was a lot of work, and it was tough. I have two ladies from church that help me out with this. And what I do is I turn the glue bottle, the craft glue bottle, upside down, and then I just start dotting the surface with glue. Some dots bigger than others. And then I have 6 different size star sequins, and then they make the selection based on how big the star. And that makes a certain chaos, because when you put stars, you know, I mean, God put stars in kind of a chaotic pattern that ends up looking kind of uniform after a while. So they would do that as well, and I'd have to be careful not to try to start making. Sometimes in some places it looks like polka dots because I was too consistent with where I was hitting it with the glue. But yes, that took a lot of time because we're talking 5 panels, each 5 feet wide, and each 10 feet tall. Anyway, so that's what.
And what are the panel? Are there something behind the actual fabric?
No, just, the first 4 panels, there's nothing behind them. They hang right against the wall on pieces of PVC pipe. I had the maintenance man put up new brackets.
Oh, wow. Smart idea.
Well, thank you. And then the more clever part, in my opinion, I think this is a really neat idea, although like all great ideas, it's partially stolen, from another artist. Anyway, the fabric turns then at about a 45-degree angle, a little bit more severe than a 45-degree angle, and it covers up the corner then of the room. And in that corner, I have a shelf made that's about 9 feet tall, and that makes it difficult to get up and kind of do anything.
So did you build that too?
Yes, I was involved with that, yes.
Wow.
And I designed it. We wanted to make it so we could take the whole thing away. So it was a lot of designing of stuff that we could simply hang on the wall and put up. So the shelf brackets are ones that we hang on the wall off of 2 screws and anchors in the wall, actually a total of 4 of them. And then on the other side, we built a little bracket off the other wall that would hold the other end of the shelf. And then a little post under it to make sure it'd be okay.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. I think you did a film on this too, and that's going to be able to be shown as well, correct?
Yes. We're doing a making of the
It's a DIY. It's a DIY project that is for a holy day during the year, right?
It is.
And Christ was a carpenter, right?
Yes.
And so was Joseph. So this is kind of leads into the whole idea of Christmas and how he was a simple carpenter. But how did you ever get involved in carpentry yourself? I mean, did you go to technical school or something? Or how did it happen?
Well, I did get to take a shop class
in
high school because, strangely, the thing I did not like as a teenager was school. But technical school wouldn't seem like school to me, so I thought. Anyway, I took a cooking class, and then I also took wood shop 1 year. There was wood 1, wood 2, wood 3, and then there was senior wood, mostly for seniors, I think, that just wanted to goof off and take their wood shop for the first time.
Right.
But I was there because I was really interested in learning something about that, and I've used those skills throughout my life. It's not that I...
Do you have all the saws and everything to do?
I don't. I usually borrow someone else's because that priest kind of lives a gypsy lifestyle, and it's a tough thing to move a lot of
stuff.
tools. And most people that get a wood shop end up really acquiring all the tools, and just around the time they get all the tools, they don't do wood shop anymore in the basement. So they usually are more than happy to help out to be able to get some use out of the tools and for the church. So.
Right. So tell me, so you got that part of it done. Then what was the next challenge that you had?
Well, the big challenge was to put something on that shelf. And again, the shelf, I had the idea of the what was going to go on the shelf before I put the shelf up. But I'm making what I call a window to heaven. I have no idea what the name for it is, but I saw something like that once in a church in Rome. I was lucky enough to go to Rome, and in the back of church they had what we would call a cry room in a Catholic church. That is a back room with a glass plate in front of it.
We don't have that at our church, by the way.
Yes, I know. So we have lots of crying babies sometimes. Right. And looking through that, though, they had a table, and that's where the crib scene was. So you could look but not touch because you were looking through glass.
That's different.
Yeah, it was nice. And so there it was, Mary and Joseph, of course, other little features. In fact, several of the churches in Rome have these types of things. But this one, on the back wall, which was only about 3 or 4 feet away from the viewer, from the piece of glass, it had a bunch of pieces of poster board, white poster board, and they had octagons, like a stop sign cut out of them. And one was about 1.5 feet big, then the next one about 1 foot, the next one like 8 inches, the next one like 4 inches. And on each one, that was like you were looking into different levels of heaven. And they put little cotton balls around there, and little angels around. They were like little ceramic angels, kind of funny little angels. And they take them, and then in the back, they had a piece of tissue paper, orange tissue paper, cut in a triangle with an eye on it, and they had it backlit. So it was like you were looking up the different layers of heaven and seeing the Blessed Trinity in a certain sense. I mean, symbolized by that triangle. And I thought, I'd like to do something with that.
And you did?
I did. I've done that once at St. William. When I was pastor there for 10 years, you mentioned your connection to St. William. For 10 years I was there, and the last couple of years I got this idea. I finally put it up the very last year, which I didn't know was going to be my last year there. But I tried that, and I wanted to make it bigger than the one I had seen, and with different colors for each of those layers, not just white, but different colors. Well, I brought that idea then to St. Joseph, and I knew I wanted to make that fabric turn when I was going to put the fabric there. Put this shelf on, and this thing's huge compared to the one I saw in Rome was probably, again, just 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet, or maybe 2 feet tops. The one at St. William was like 2 feet by 3 feet, and this thing's 4 feet by 3 feet. So
we're taking a lot of pictures because I am so in awe of your craftsmanship. I'm a DIYer as well, as you know. And
your beautiful wreaths.
Oh, I really enjoy doing it. I think you have to love being creative and having that talent. If you don't use it, you lose it. Right?
I agree.
And
yes.
Every year you surprise me immensely. But you know what? I'm going to take a short break. And can you give your website, Father, so people can go and see when they can come? And we need to crowd the church this year, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes,
we really do.
Okay, well, our website is www.stjosephnorthbend.com. Again, St. Joseph North Bend, that's the town where we are, northbend.com. And it's St. Joseph, not Saint spelled out, so www.stjosephnorthbend.com.
Back to the show. You're listening to Let's Just Talk with Kathryn Raaker. Christian Talk 1150, WCVX.
We're back on Kathryn Raaker's Let's Just Talk. This is our special Christmas show, and we have my pastor, Father Andrew Umberg of St. Joseph's Church in North Bend, Ohio. And we're talking about the construction of the creche and how he did it. And now I think we're talking about, you did the 3 layers of heaven. Am I correct?
Actually, there's going to be 7 total.
7 layers.
Yes.
Right.
God will be in 7th heaven.
Okay, 7th heaven. Okay, so talk to us about where we are next with the actual construction.
Okay, well, it's under I'm still working on it. I'll be working on it right up to the end. But this window into heaven, which is a big round hole cut in the blue satin sky, a nice starry sky, you'll look into this, what is actually a box or a rack with 6 layers on it, making it so that with the front layer of the sky, it will be 7 layers. And then there's an issue here that I didn't get to mention before, and that is when you cut satin, it's of course going to kind of just hang open, besides all the threads and all the other problems that you're going to have there.
The phrase.
So yes, the phrase. There's someone that knows something about sewing. I know nothing about sewing, so it was my crude cutting of the thing that I really had even more sewing sins to cover than most people. So I had this idea that I needed something to cover up the thing, so I'm making out of signboard what I call an angel plate. That is, I took a big piece of signboard, 4x8, and I've carved it down a little bit, and then traced that same hole from the cloth onto it, and then on that frame, then of course I'll leave lots of frame space because I have 8 feet, and there was only 3 feet cut out for the hole. I'll have an announcing angel above it, and then 2 angels, one playing the violin, one playing the harp on the side of it, and then flying under it, completing the circle, to cover up all the cut fabric, I'll have a girl angel that's there flying and blowing a trumpet toward planet Earth. Wow. So it should look really pretty. And did
you make the angels?
I'm still making them, I confess, as of this recording. But the angels, I don't have to draw. I have to draw their bodies and their uniforms. They're going to be dressed like deacons of the Catholic Church and like really fancy vestments, because that's the way they used to draw make the statues of old angels. If you see a crib set that has an angel over the crib holding a sign saying "Glory to God in the highest," he or she will usually be wearing a white alb. That is the long white robe that a priest wears, and then also a vestment that looks like a priest's vestment, but it's more like a deacon's vestment. So anyway, I'll draw those and I'll decorate those myself. But for their faces and hands, it will be photographs of their face and hands. I'll just paste onto a piece of signboard. So and I found models to do that from our parishioners back in October and November. I took a lot of pictures of people, yes, with their permission or their parents' permission, of course. And then, so I have them ready to go as my angels. Also in the different layers of heaven, I'm hoping I don't end up junking it up by doing this, but I hope to have photographs of people singing. I had them say the word above as I took their picture, so it looks like they're singing. So that should be nice. I hope it's nice.
Let me ask you this question right here. How do you think of all these things? How do you create them? In the middle of the night?
Yes. Or if not the middle of the night,
dreaming?
Before I go to sleep. No, it's not while I'm dreaming. It's while I'm walking around, maybe even getting ready for bed. I think, how am I going to cover up that cloth? Well, I could put some kind of circle on there or something, right, of something else that's not cloth. And then I started thinking, wouldn't an angel be neat? Oh, an announcing that angel would be neat. But I thought, I can't have it like a statue with a clock in its belly. I can't just have the angel with the big hole there and right where their belly should be. Instead, I thought, I'll just have him or her. It turns out it's a her. She'll be kind of almost like standing behind it with it up to her chest. And then on the sides, I'll have 2 full-body angels. And I thought, I've seen a lot of angels in Rome. Not real angels, but carved angels made of marble. So I thought they often, would put out one foot and kind of make them arch their back a little bit and lean, so it kind of makes a part of a circle, a quarter of a circle. Right. I thought, I'll do that. And then I thought, but how am I going to draw those things? I thought, well, wait a minute. If I get pictures and just paste them on, that'll be easier. So that was a different day, different thought, It just my mind races about this.
Just simple, right? Easy?
I wish it were. I get these ideas, and I get all excited about them.
What about the shepherds?
Well, then that's another idea. When you hear this Christmas story, as told in the Gospel of Luke, and that's the one, by the way, they read on Charlie Brown Christmas, they always mention the shepherds, of course, because it's such a beautiful thing. Only Luke tells us about the shepherds out in the field. And he says there were some shepherds in that region, and they saw this angel, and all the angels were with them. and they mentioned that the glory of the Lord shone around them. I thought, wouldn't it be neat to have to do that? So what I had to create a separate visual space where I have kind of a table that's behind and a little bit to the left of the crib, and I'll block it with some trees and some mountains that I'll make, some artificial trees and mountains. But when you get there, on a much more miniature scale, I've taken action figures that I bought from a store, that's a discount store, and the action figures I'll have to dress up as shepherds, and they will be standing on a field, but I want to show the glory of the Lord, so I'm going to cover it with glitter and sparkly paper and things like that to make it so they'll be standing right under the opening where the angels are and where you look up into heaven. So, yeah, that's been fun so far. Everything else is simple when I try to do it. It's fun to think of it, and everything else is drudgery up until it's done.
Well, it's like that with anything in the arts, right?
Yes, you have to suffer for a while.
You have to suffer for a while, and you get stuff all over you, and there are times when you get so tired that you don't think you're going to be able to make it. And like you said, you work until the very last minute, and then all of a sudden it just comes together, and you go, oh my word. And then you go look at it, and you stare at it, and you go, that's it. Right, Father? It
is. I love it when that happens. And, of course, I've seen, the beautiful Christmas wreaths and summer wreaths, Easter wreaths that you've done. And I know sometimes you get there, though, and say, oh, I got to put more red there. I need more silver there.
That's right.
And once I look at it then, I almost have to be away from it for a day. And then I love it when I come back and say, oh, now that's just right.
I know, and it's like, you have to be able to stand away from it and do it. It's like anything that becomes creative. But you know what? It's for the glory of God. That's why you do it.
Yes.
That's the way I do it. I mean, I got a really wonderful little thank you this morning. She said, you can tell that it's love, radiating love. And I thought, wow, that made me feel really wonderful. It's the same thing. You're giving the gift, a little piece of your heart and soul when you do what you do for the church. And that's what Christmas is all about, isn't it?
It sure is. It sure is.
And we've come to the end of our show, Father.
Oh.
And I can't wait to see it. And I think all of our listeners and our viewers need to come, if you live in this region, to St. Joseph's Church in North Bend to see this beautiful thing. But make sure you go up to the website. Would you give the website, Father?
Yes, thank you. It's, again, www.stjoseph, like St. Joseph, so that's stjosephnorthbend.com.
And I want to say that we want to wish everyone a very Merry, Holy Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
And thank you for joining us today. You've really brought us a special gift. And thank you. And don't forget to go to our website at Kathryn Raaker's Let'sJustTalkRadio.com.
You've been listening to Let's Just Talk with Kathryn Raaker, sponsored by A Private Place, Bagwell, Dan Perkins Author, Don Greco Novels, IDI Dentistry, Dr. James Butler, iMarketing, Web Design and Web Hosting, Integrated Healthcare Solutions, Pucker Urban Farms, Next Stage, Skip Kenny Barbecue, Songs and Stories for Soldiers, Ultimate Air Shuttle, and Veterans in Defense of Liberty. On Cincinnati's Christian Voice, Christian Talk 1160, WCVX.